Good morning or afternoon. I almost hit start streaming instead of start recording because I record on OBS, and I'm so glad that I caught myself because I'm still kind of half asleep. And I also caught a glimpse of myself in OBS, and it's not good. So I'm glad that I didn't make that mistake. That would have been bad. But hi, everybody. I hope we're doing good today. I know I keep talking about this, but I always get so excited to see the analytics of the podcast, like after it's posted. And the website that I use for my analytics, I can see an actual map of the world, and it shows me where the spots are where people are listening, and the more people listen, the darker the spot gets on the map. And I noticed it's exciting when like new spots pop up on the map, but I noticed that there are a few listeners like scattered in places that I never really thought, I don't know, that the podcast would reach. I know that sounds silly considering I'm putting it on the internet and literally anybody in the world can listen to it. But we have some listeners in Egypt. So hi, Egypt. That's cool that the podcast is reaching Egypt. We have some listeners in Sweden, all over Europe, and of course across the United States and other places too. But it was just so fascinating to me, just specifically seeing Egypt and Sweden. Like, hi, I hope you guys are doing good. Thank you so much for listening. That's so fucking cool to me. There's so many places over there that I would love to visit, so it's really cool that, I don't know, that you're listening to my bullshit. Just thank you for listening. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you away right there or call you out. But hi. Hope you're doing good. So today we're going to be talking about the topic of online friends. And there's a whole bunch of things that I want to cover with this topic, but let's just get into the meat and potatoes of it. So in prior podcast episodes, I've talked about how I'm introverted and it's kind of difficult for me to like interact with people in my real life. But for whatever reason, it's so much easier for me to make friends online. I've always had an easier time getting to know people online. I don't know if it's because I'm more comfortable in my home and behind a screen, or if people are just nicer online. When I was in college, I would try all the time to make friends in my classes, but my generation just doesn't like interacting with people unless they already know you. And it's kind of frustrating because there would be so many times when I would try to get to know somebody because we had similar classes or we sat next to each other most of the time, but people just aren't receptive and they don't talk to each other. I don't know why that is, but I struggled in college and now even that I'm out of college making friends because people just don't feel comfortable interacting in the real world, I guess I should say. I was talking to Jackson about this and he thinks it's because of our phones. We've all become so reliant on our cell phones that it's almost difficult to be present when you're around people, which I understand. I'm addicted to my phone. I'm trying to break this addiction. I've gotten better at it. But even still, there are times where I'm just reaching for my phone just because I have nothing better to do. But for whatever reason, it's always just been easier for me to make friends online. And I've had so many wonderful interactions and so many amazing memories of people that I've never even met before. And I'll probably carry these memories with me until the end. But I want to tell you some of the stories of these people and why they mean so much to me. Most of them I unfortunately am not in contact with anymore, but they still have just a great impact on my life. So most of the people that I met online were through video games, and the one video game where I started meeting people online, where I consistently kept talking to them and kept in contact with them, was Minecraft. The first Minecraft server I ever joined that was multiplayer was called Uber Minecraft. I know it sounds stupid, but I got my Minecraft account and I was playing single player for a little bit because that's what I originally thought was the only thing that you could do. And then I saw the multiplayer button and I was like, I don't know any servers. So I just Googled multiplayer Minecraft servers and clicked the first one that popped up on the Google search and put it into Minecraft, and the rest was history. So it was one of these giant hub servers where you could just do anything. They had like different servers attached to it. You could go in a creative server, a PvP server, a build server, like all these crazy things. I was still so new to the game that I didn't even understand what was going on. So I just ran straight into the portal that was right in front of me, which was the build server. So when I first joined this server, I was automatically bombarded with so many people. I was so overwhelmed. I didn't know what was going on. And all these people, just the chat was flowing because I was in just a high populated area. The chat was flowing like crazy. I was overwhelmed. I couldn't keep up. So I just started running in a random direction. And the farther away I got from spawn, the more and more chat kind of slowed down because I wasn't around a whole bunch of people. I don't know how they set up proximity chat now that I think about it back then. Like, that's kind of cool. I guess it was some random plugin. But they had some sort of proximity chat. So the farther away you got, the less spam you would get from these people. So I'm running. And all of a sudden, a chat pops up in my chat box. I'm like, huh, that's weird. I guess I'm near somebody. Come to find out, somebody literally followed me all the way from spawn. And I was like, what the hell? So this isn't really a story of an online friend, but this is a story that I've told on my stream before. This was the first ever interaction I've had with somebody online. So this person pops up and they're like, hey, wait up. So I'm like, that's kind of creepy. So I look around and I find this person. They start running towards me. And they're like, hey, like, what's your name? And at this time, this was before Minecraft allowed you to change your username. But this was a brand new Minecraft account for me. I literally just made it like hours prior, and I was so proud of my name. So my name on Minecraft was supposed to be Angel_Fire and then some numbers. I don't remember what the numbers were. But me, in my 11-year-old brain, thought that I was the best speller. So instead of spelling Angel, Angel, I spelt it Angle, as in angle. So my name was Angle_Fire and some numbers. So the person's like, what's your name? And I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to give this guy my real name. I'm gonna tell him some fake name. So I was like, my name is in my username. And I didn't spell it. I didn't write Angel. I just said my name's in my username. And the guy's like, your name is Angle? Your parents named you Angle? What kind of a fucking name is that? And I was like, yeah, that's my name. Like, the angels in the sky. And he was like, do you mean angel? And spelt it correctly. And I was like, yeah, but my parents just spelt it weird. They spelt it like angle. And he's like, so your name is Angel, but spelt angle. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh. Okay. And I never saw him again. And there's probably a reason. He's probably like, who the hell names their kid Angle? I think about him a lot. I hope he's doing okay. But that was my first ever interaction with somebody online. And it mortified me because, like I said, I just made that Minecraft account. My parents just spent the $26.95 on that Minecraft account for me to be an idiot and spell my username wrong. And I was stuck. Like, Minecraft didn't allow you to switch your username. So I was stuck with that for a very long time. But I spent so much time on that server. And a few days later, after exploring the wastelands of that server, because everything had been griefed beyond belief and I couldn't even like actually build or do anything that you would need to do in Minecraft, I noticed that some of the people that paid for ranks in that server had the ability to do global chat. So they could be speaking across the whole Minecraft server and everybody could see it. So I decided to message one of them one day and I was like, hey, could you help me? I don't really know what's going on. I'm new to this game and I'm lost in just a sea of lava. They're like, oh crap. So they teleported me to them. And thankfully they were super nice. Most of the people on that server would just kind of like ignore you because I would get messages all the time later on when I had a rank, but that's later down the line. But they actually took the time to take me to a safer area where they kind of had their house and everything. And they gave me a whole bunch of materials because the rank that they had allowed them to go into creative mode. So they gave me like nothing to where I would be cheating in the game, I guess, but they gave me like a whole bunch of wood, a whole bunch of cobblestone, just things to kind of get me started and to build a house at least. So that was nice. And they introduced me to all of their friends. And the more I played, the more I got to know these people on this server. And eventually, somebody for my birthday gifted me a rank on the server. So I was able to, talk to people across the server and in the global chat and actually be a part of this, I don't want to say hierarchy, but people that had ranks on the server seemed like, I don't know, it wasn't like a clique, but it was kind of like a clique. Like there was just this friend group of people that were ranked because they were the people that were on the server so much to where they contributed to the server, and they were like, you know what, we're just gonna get ranks. And it was also easier to see them in chat messages because their name was highlighted a different color and everything. It was just different. And I don't know how to say that without sounding like terrible. But there was one day where I was hanging out with this person, the original person that teleported me to them. I don't remember their name. We'll just call them Sam. So Sam was playing on the Minecraft server with me one day, and all of a sudden this person joined. And Sam was like, oh my God, this person's incredible. You have to meet them. And I was like, okay, like sure, and introduce me to them. Maybe we'll get along. So Sam introduced me to this girl named, gosh, I don't know if I should say her name. I could say, I don't really know like her full name. I feel like I did at some point, but we'll call her E. So Sam introduces me to this girl E, and right off the bat, me and E hit it off like crazy. We became inseparable. I don't know how it started, but we were hanging out constantly. Like every time I would get on Minecraft, she would already be on, or she would get on shortly. We started trying new games with each other. Like she was my first true online friend. And we would spend so many hours on Skype calls, Uwu calls, just literally hanging out until the sun went down, the sun came back up. I think our longest Skype call was like 4 days long. We wouldn't even hang up to go to sleep or to eat or anything. We would literally just fall asleep in the call and wake up and be like, oh, good morning. You want to like go play Minecraft? She was such an incredible influence on who I was growing up. She was a few years older than me, so she gave me some advice on some things, but she was also just an amazing friend. We would hang out constantly. And she and I met this other girl that was also on that server. We'll call her R. So me, E, and R were all inseparable. We would hang out constantly. R was from Australia though, so every once in a while we would have issues with time zones, but whenever E and I would be in a call together, we didn't mind silence. Sometimes, like I said, we had a 4-day long Skype call. So sometimes we would just sit in the Skype call, not talking, just enjoying each other's company and playing Minecraft. And that, honestly, I miss those days so much. There's so many things that I could say about her. She was such an amazing friend. I don't know what happened exactly. I think we just got busy. Like I said, she was a few years older, so once she kind of started getting into her senior year of high school and all that, our relationship kind of fell apart a little bit, but that's just what happens. But we were good friends for many, many, many years, and I really miss her. She was just the person I would always go to for things. We were always playing games together. It was funny because it got to a point where we honestly considered each other sisters because we were just so inseparable and so close. But it was a little trio, me, E, and R. We would all just kind of hang out. I don't know what influenced me to do this, but at some point, probably all the way back in like 2013, I started an Instagram page where I would just kind of post pictures of me playing Minecraft and my friends on Minecraft and things that we did. And this was also a time where I was really trying to do content creation, but it was mainly just Minecraft videos. So I started an Instagram page where I was just posting all this content, and I convinced E to make one, R made one, and by posting on this Instagram page, I met so many other amazing people, and I just formed this giant friend group. So some of the other people that I would like to talk about, I guess we'll just use We'll just use initials because I don't know if these people would feel comfortable with me using their name, considering I do still talk to some of them. So I'm just going to use initials. So one of the first people that I met on this Instagram community was this man named M. So Em and I would hang out. I know Em's listening probably right now, so hi, Em. But Em and I, we kind of like messaged back and forth at first. I was more so like a fangirl of him because he had a bigger Instagram page than I did. And I just really wanted to be friends with this guy. I don't know why. Anytime he would post something, I thought he was so fucking cool. And I was like, I really need to just be friends with this guy. He probably had like 3,000 followers on his Instagram, and I had like 50, but I was so determined to be friends with this guy. So I remember I kept posting. There was one day where I posted like a face reveal for like the first time, and I posted the face reveal in the morning, and he didn't like it. So I was like, oh, he didn't see it yet. So I deleted it and reposted it later on in the day, being like, oh, like, here's my face reveal. And I guess he was later on that day, so he saw it and he was like, oh my gosh, like, it's so nice to actually put a face to the name. And he messaged me, and that's like when we started being friends. So we started hanging out and we started playing games, and eventually I introduced him to E and R, and they were like kind of like hesitant at first because they were like, why are you bringing a guy into our friend group, our little girl trio? But they quickly warmed up to him, and they quickly invited him to the festivities and everything. So then we became a group of 4. And on this Minecraft Instagram community, there were some people that were like kind of bigger. They were like the influencers of this community. So there was this one girl, I think her name was like Pixel Perf or something. And she was like, you know what? I'm going to make a Minecraft server for this Minecraft community, and everybody can come and join the server, and it's for all like the Instagram people on Minecraft. And she had like a lot of followers, like a few thousand followers. That doesn't sound like a lot, but I think she had like 40,000 followers, and most of them were Minecraft followers. So you can imagine that the server was pretty popular. So I joined the server after I gained a little bit of traction on Instagram. Nothing crazy, but maybe I was at like 1,000 followers at this point. So I'm at 1,000 followers on Instagram. I joined like the opening of the server, and somebody runs up to me asking if I was my old Instagram name. And at first I was kind of like freaked out because I was like, how do you know that? But also this was the first time I ever got recognized doing anything. So that was kind of cool. It was on a Minecraft server. So yeah, I mean, some people may think it's a little lame, but I thought it was so cool. I was like, nobody's ever recognized me before for my content. So they messaged me and they're like, oh, are you this person on Instagram? And I was like, yeah, that's me. Why? And they were like, oh my God, I love your content. Like, that's so cool that I finally get to meet you. And I was like, oh, all right, cool. Like, nice to meet you. So after this person kind of messages me, they're getting chased down by one of their friends, and their friend's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you bugging this person? So these 2 people became really good friends of mine. The first person that talked to me asking if I was who I was on Instagram, we're going to call her S. And the other person chasing her down, we're going to call her L. So S and L, not Saturday Night Live. SNL kind of became good friends with me after that, and they also got invited to the friend group. But I became the closest with SNL after I met them, because around this time, this was when E and I kind of started fizzling out. She became very busy with her school stuff, and she wasn't as able to play video games anymore. She also got a boyfriend, so she was spending time with him. And around this time, you know, we just kind of stopped talking to each other, which is okay. But at the time, I didn't realize that that was the last time I was really going to be talking to her. So me, SNL, were playing a whole bunch of games together. We started experimenting with a whole bunch of games. So this is around the time that I was introduced to Team Fortress 2. I started playing a whole bunch of Team Fortress 2. And this is also when I got introduced to achievements. Now, I am a big achievement hunter now because of Team Fortress 2. This game, I still don't have all the achievements in this game, but this game has like 600 achievements. And I remember I brought SNL into this game and I was like, hey, you know, we should play this game together. Let's learn this game. Let's learn how to play a shooter game. So we were all playing and I got so obsessed with the idea of achievements to the point where I would force them, I feel so bad, but I would force them into a lobby with me, just us three. And one would be on the other team or two would be on the other team, and I would just try and rack up achievements, as many as I could. So we were all doing it. It wasn't just me. But I was like, let's achievement hunt. Let's just spend like 4 hours and try to get as many achievements as we could. So I was having a blast. I think they were having a blast at first, and then it got kind of annoying to them. So I'm sorry, S or L, if you're listening to this. But we would play so many games together. So we would play Team Fortress 2. We played Portal together. I was introduced to like this first MMO I've ever played. I don't remember even what it's called, but it was like some MMO that Elle used to play in her childhood. And it was the same thing where we would just stay up all night talking, playing video games, and we didn't really worry about if this was going to be the last time that we were talking to them or anything like that. It eventually just got to a point where one day that was just the last time that we would all talk. So I know everybody's had different experiences, obviously, with this topic. I'm very grateful that I've only really had positives. I've definitely had some negatives. I've gone through a few friend breakups, I guess you could call them. But for the most part, most of my interactions with people online have been very positive. Of course, there are weirdos out there. I've had my fair share of weirdos. But a lot of the people that I've met have been really good to me. The only real breakup, I guess you can call it, was with E. And like I said before, it was just different with her because she was older and, you know, she just started drifting away from me. But it's definitely the friendship that hurt the most because it didn't have any closure. I didn't get to know when the last time I was going to talk to her was going to be, the last happy birthday wishes, the last 4-day long Skype call. There were times where I tried reaching out to her after we drifted apart, but whether she changed her phone number or blocked my phone number, I'll never really know. But I do think about her a lot, and I hope that she's doing okay. Hey, are you in need of some new clothes? We all can use clothes from time to time. You know, summer's coming up, and you want to show off that cool rockin' summer bod? I get it. I understand. You're in luck. We have a new merch store. If you go to BlindedBySilence.com, you can go ahead and check out our new merch items. And since you're a podcast listener, use code PODCAST, that's PODCAST, for 10% off your entire order. Those are the people that I started really playing games with and getting to learn video games and content creation with, what I thought I knew content creation was. So there was one day where Elle and I were just super bored. We're like, you know what? All these Minecraft servers that we've been playing on are super lame or they don't exist anymore. Let's just go and find a new Minecraft server. It's like, okay. So we Google, we're looking for Minecraft servers, and we find one that doesn't have a lot of people on it, which we kind of liked because we didn't want to be griefed and robbed and all that. So we get on this Minecraft server, and this was right after I kind of started using Blinded by Silence as my name for a little bit, because I got a second Minecraft account after being mortified of my original Minecraft name. So I got a second Minecraft account. We joined the server, and we're doing our thing, running away from spawn, starting to chop up everything, you know, chop down all the trees, build a house. And all of a sudden, this person comes flying out of fucking nowhere and is just like flying above our house. And we're like, please don't kick or ban us, thanks. So this guy's messaging us and he's like, hey, what are you doing? We're like, we're playing survival. Is that okay? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. And then he messages me and he's like, hey, I really like your name, by the way. I think your name's pretty fucking cool. And I was like, oh, thanks, I guess. And then that was kind of the icebreaker. It was like, okay, maybe this guy's chill. Maybe he's not going to ban us from the server. Because we were just a little scared to see this person just fly at us from nowhere. So we started playing on the server a little bit more, and then we got to know this guy a little bit more, and eventually we felt comfortable enough adding him on Skype. So we were like, okay, yeah, we can talk to this guy. He seems pretty chill. So enter friend K. So now K has joined the group, and K and I became very close. It was me, L, and K for a very long time. We would play Minecraft together, and we would switch off. So me and L would play games a lot, and then me and K would play games a lot. So when I was in high school too, I was in the band program, and I had people in my section. I was a saxophone player, and I was the saxophone captain, not to toot my own horn, haha, pun, but I was a saxophone captain, so there were a whole bunch of people that were under me that I had to make sure that they knew their shit. But there was one guy in particular where, as like an icebreaker, we were just kind of talking about things that we like to do. So I brought up that I like to play video games, and he not messaged me, he spoke to me. I can't interact with people in real life, so I just automatically assumed that he messaged me. But he spoke to me, and he was like, hey, I also like playing video games. If you want, maybe we can play video games sometime together. I was like, okay, sure, why not? What's the worst that could happen? Once we got home, he added me on Steam, and then he added me to this Discord with a whole bunch of people. And one of the first ever interactions I had with all of these people, they were all playing CSGO, and they had no idea who the fuck I was, but they were like, oh, do you have CSGO? And I was like, yeah, I've never played it before. And they were like, that's fine, we need a fifth. So my first ever interaction with these people, I was playing CSGO with 2 minutes in the game. There were 10 of us in that call, so it was 5-on-5. And I just didn't know anybody. And I was so mortified because I'm socially awkward and I don't want to be in a call with a whole bunch of people that I don't know. So some of the people on my team start speaking up, and they're like kind of giving me a hard time, but they're also kind of being like a little weird because they don't really know me, plus I'm a girl. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put on my kahunas, I don't know, my balls, and I'm gonna talk shit. So I started talking shit, and then I started making friends that way. So the first few people that I made friends with in that friend group, I don't talk to anymore. I just kind of gravitated towards them because they seemed like everybody liked them. So I was like, okay, I'll just go towards you because you seem like a neutral party and everybody likes you, and if I'm friends with you, then nobody's gonna hate me. So I kind of gravitated towards them the first few times that I hung out with these people. And then as I got to know more people in the friend group, I became friends with others. I became really good friends with, this is another L, it's a guy L. So guy L, guy S, and guy B. So not Bree, B. So I hung out with them a shit ton. We would play PUBG together all the time, and we would just hang out and play video games. They introduced me to so many different video games. Some I had never played before, and they, oh gosh. So these are the same people, those of you that have been watching my streams for a little bit, they introduced me to Dark Souls 3, a lot of games. CSGO, Rainbow Six, League. I was playing League for a little bit, but they were the ones that really had me playing League when I was in my League phase. League, and a whole bunch of other games, but these are the people that I'm still very close to this day, and I still play video games with all the time, and they're probably listening, so hi guys, hope you're doing good. But after a while, I would go between this friend group of the 3 guys and K and L and just all these people. So I'm sorry that now these letters are getting a little confusing. I didn't think of this beforehand, that there's so many repeated letters, but it's fine, I guess. And eventually it got to a point where Kay was like, hey, let's try games like PUBG and Fortnite and all that. So I started playing more battle royales with him. And he also was the person who introduced me to Twitch. So there was one day where we were playing games. I think we were loading up a game of Fortnite. And he's like, hey, I've been streaming. And I was like, cool. I don't really know what that means, but that's awesome, I guess. And he's like, well, pretty much what it is it's like, you're playing the game already, right? It's like, yeah. He's like, well, you can go live and people can watch you play the game live. And I was like, oh, so it's like YouTube, but live. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. I was like, oh, okay, well, that kind of cuts out the editing portion, which I hate doing. So sure, I'll go live, I guess. So I went live on Twitch for the first time ever. And when I first went live on Twitch, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I wasn't paying attention to chat. I wasn't doing anything. I was just live because I was video gaming. I was gaming. So I learned a lot of the basics of Twitch from him, and we kind of learned together. So we would go back and forth, kind of showing each other new things that we learned and new overlays and everything like that, new alerts. And the more I streamed, the more I got to meet people. I met so many people off of Twitch, and then I stopped streaming. But the more time that I spent on Twitch, the more people that I got to meet. And I just got closer with so many creators. There's one creator that I don't really talk to anymore and I don't really like to talk about. But when I first met them, we did have a great relationship, and unfortunately things just didn't go well in the end. But I did learn a lot from them, and they also introduced me to a lot of amazing other people. Some people that I'm really grateful that they're my friends now on Twitch. There are two ladies that both go by the name the letter J on Twitch, so I hang out with them a lot. These people I can shout out. I'm not afraid of people finding them because you should watch their content. So Jenna's Online and Musically Miss J are two lovely, lovely, lovely human beings, and I'm so glad to be friends with them. I met so many other lovely ladies through TechWiz. TechWiz was somebody that was introduced to me that I'm glad I can call him my friend. He introduced me to a group of lovely ladies that I hang out with a lot that have their own little harem. So I hang out with them. And there were also two people that used to watch me a lot when I first started streaming that still somehow hang out in my stream. I don't know how they still put up with my content. But Satanic Jesus and Dido Debayase, they're awesome. They also introduced me to a whole bunch of people. Some of the people that I now speak to a lot more recently. They introduced me to a lovely man named Alex and his friends Morgan, Miara, and I'm just happy to have all of these people in my life that I feel like I can bond with on a different level, because we all have that common hobby of just enjoying and creating content, and common goal of making friends and keeping friends and all that. So those are my online friend stories. These people made a really significant impact on my life, and I'm very grateful that I was able to have the opportunity to meet them, because even like on these Minecraft servers, especially the people that I met very early on, the chance of missing somebody like that are just crazy. Like the probability of not interacting with just one person is so high. And I'm sure I've missed out on many other amazing friendships just because I didn't feel comfortable messaging somebody, or because I just missed them by a second on a game. But I'm grateful to have these people in my life, or to have had them in my life. And I hope they're doing well, those that are no longer actively in communication with me. I will say that I've only met one of my online friends in person. There are so many people that I've met online that I would like to meet in person, but I've either not had the opportunity to meet them in person, or I'm just too shy. So one story, there was this friend of mine that was playing Minecraft with me, and we would talk all the time, and they live also in Florida. They live in northern Florida. And they were asking like, oh, could we meet up sometime? Could we go to Disney together and just meet up and hang out? And I was mortified to bring this up to my parents. So instead of, doing something logical, like bringing it up to my parents that I would like to meet my friend on the internet, I told them to join their marching band program at their high school, because I knew if their marching band went to state, I would be able to meet them at state competition. And when I say I knew I would be able to meet them, I mean like I had a 10% chance of actually running into them at state. So they did it. They joined their marching band program. They're a year younger than me. So I had already been in the marching band for a year, and this was their first time in the marching band. So they joined their marching band program, went through the hell of the year that marching band puts you through, and we eventually got to state. And I was lucky enough to have my band director allow us to roam for a few minutes. and I was able to run into them. And that was the first time and the only time I've ever met one of my online friends. And thankfully, we were able to thankfully, we were able to meet multiple times throughout the same competition. Each year that passed, I got to see them again, and we took photos of just how we looked that year, so we could look back and see how we've aged, I guess. But it was pretty cool. So that's the only time I've ever met one of my online friends. I definitely wish that I could meet more, and I hope to eventually meet more. There are so many people that I've met that are just incredible, and I'd love to, even just say hi to them in person and see them in person. I feel like that would be so cool. I feel like especially even with TwitchCon's probably going to be my best bet of actually meeting my online friends, especially now because most of my friends are on Twitch. I think that would be a cool experience. So hopefully next year I can attend TwitchCon. Unfortunately, this year it's just not in the cards for me. But I would love to go to TwitchCon. There's so many creators that I also look up to that I would love to meet. So I think that would be cool. But I don't know. Maybe you listening to this podcast, maybe we'll meet one day. I feel like that would be cool. Hopefully in good circumstances, though. Hopefully you're not like a murderer, because that would suck. Do you have any friendship stories? Any person that sticks out in your mind that was either your best friend that you met in a video game or your first friend that you met in a video game? Maybe even somebody that you didn't even get along with and you're like, wow, I really fucking hate this person. I can't believe I put up with them in this long. Let me know. But thank you guys so much for listening. You can check out all my socials. They're going to be linked down below in all the descriptions of this podcast, wherever you're listening. If not, you can catch me on Twitch live on Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/BlindedBySilence. Check out our merch store at BlindedBySilence.com. Remember to use code PODCAST, that's PODCAST, for 10% off your entire order. On Instagram is BlindedBySilence TV. We got Blind by Silence on Twitter and Blinded by Silence on Hover, Blinded by Silence on TikTok. You'll find me everywhere. I literally exist everywhere. But thank you guys so much for listening. And I look forward to hearing your stories of your online friends. Please DM me. I would honestly love to hear any stories that you have, regardless of the detail. Like, I would love to hear the stories. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Oh, also check out we have a Twitter for the podcast. Hold on, I need to look up the name. Hold on. Blinded_podcast is what the @ is for Twitter, but that's the Silent Thoughts podcast. I'm going to be posting there whenever a podcast episode has been uploaded, if it's being delayed, any topics. Maybe you guys can help vote on a topic, follow it. But be sure that you're following the podcast on your favorite podcast streaming platform so you can be notified the next time that an episode is released. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, so be sure you're following. But have a good one, guys. Love you. Thanks for listening.